Hello and welcome to Cinematic Chronicles. I'm your host, Ethan Reneker. And for this month's director, we will be doing Stanley Kubrick with Spartacus and Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Pretty epic. Spartacus is a historical epic based upon the true story of Spartacus. But what are some of the things in the movie that didn't happen in real life? Unos. In the movie's final battle, Spartacus survives. However, in reality, he dies there and we never find his body. So, no, I am Spartacus. 2. In the movie, Spartacus's love interest is a woman named Verinia. However, in actuality, we have no idea what his love interest's name was. I mean, could have been anything. Even Spartacus. 3. This one is more of an omission from the film. You see, Spartacus was a Thracian, which was one of Rome's enemies. When they took them over, all of those Thracians became slaves, which is how Spartacus becomes a gladiator. He was a Thracian, and he was called Murmillo, which is a different one of Rome's adversaries, which is just really weird that they wouldn't call him Thracian. Science! Most know about crucifixion through a certain religious figure. And according to this movie, that's the same way that Spartacus died. So we're going to go through the science of crucifixion. Let's start with the nails that the Romans used to nail you to the cross. You see, the Romans understood that a lot of the body's nervous systems run through the wrist. So, after torturing people and I guess figuring out how painful it was, they just figured out the perfect angle to make sure that every time it was as painful as it could be, which is just a little too far. So none of that matters because, as seen here, Spartacus was tied and not nailed. One of the worst parts of crucifixion is the fluid in the lung, which occurs because it is harder to breathe, which means the lung tissue gets damaged and capillaries start flooding in, which means you can't breathe at all. Crucifixion is a long and lengthy process, so going that long without water and also being unable to breathe, just so many things, actually all leads to cardiac arrest because your heart is no longer getting oxygen. Your heart is wanting to pump more but not being able to pump until you have a heart attack, and that's how crucifixion kills you. It's anybody else tired of that old school rim shot? I mean, it's a little boring. So, thanks to our sponsors, you can get a new style of ba-dum-ching. Listen here. Can you at least tell me when it's gonna end?
No.
Okay. Wow! Fantastic! Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, is a satirical comedy about the Cold War. This movie is mainly about America and Russia, who did have nuclear warheads. However, what are some other countries who had nuclear warheads, and when did they get them? Okay, first up, in 1945, we have the very first nuclear bomb with the USA. Think about this. It's 1949. You're the USSR, and you have Kazakhstan. What do? You drop a nuclear bomb. Hello and welcome to 1960 news. It's the French again. They just went nuclear. They detonated a nuclear bomb in the Sahara. In 1964, China goes nuclear. And to show China that India is not afraid, India goes nuclear 10 years after China in 1974. South Africa goes nuclear in 1979 with maybe Israel's help? ? We don't know. There was a bomb there. In 1986, we discover that Israel has nuclear bombs, but we do not know how long they have had them. In 1998, India started to do nuclear tests again, and Pakistan, just like India, responds by having nuclear tests. So similar, just be friends. And finally, commie North Korea gets nuclear bombs. And now feast your eyes upon this amazing table that we were able to buy thanks to our sponsors.
Science.
In this iconic scene from the movie Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, we see a man riding a nuke, which seems impossible. But is it impossible, or does it have some truth? First, we must figure out which nuclear bomb it was. And looking at this image, and knowing that Slim Pickens was 6'3", I think we can safely assume it's the MK-17. Next, we must learn how much the MK-17 weighed. How much did it weigh? It weighed 41,400 pounds. So we put that into a physics calculator, and we get 184,156 newtons. Is that enough to push a human off of a nuke? Well, unsurprisingly, yes. 184,000 newtons is a lot of force to be pushed against a human body. Hello and welcome to this thing I will be calling my end monologue. Here it is.
Hey, it's Steve here. So, Ethan did this whole monologue thing, and it's very boring, as one could expect if Ethan does something by himself. So we just cut it and decided I would talk over it. So hopefully this is a much better listening experience than listening to Ethan. I think that should be it. Bye. Nope, so Ethan did this a lot longer than we expected. We might do some sound effects. We'll do that.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.